Hello and welcome to Nintendo Nostalgia, episode 171. I'm your host, Ryan Black, and I am joined by my co-host, Joshua Taylor, and we are back and we are playing with power. Josh, how you doing this week?
Doing just fine here. How are you all?
Oh, pretty good. The intro track for today's episode was none other than the Super Mario Sunshine Delfino Plaza theme. And it's a good song to kick off the whole water theme that we're doing today. You know, April showers bring May flowers. So definitely got a few very wet and, I don't know, rainy even songs coming to you. You can bet there's some classics in here, maybe some unexpected ones.
Yeah, if you've played Mario Sunshine in particular, you've had to heard that first one. That was one I remember hearing constantly playing that game in the hub world. For whatever reason, it sticks out more to me than I think even Peach's Castle on Mario 64. Kind of catchy. I like it.
Yeah, I can listen to that one on repeat over and over and over again and never get tired of it. I know a lot of people aren't really big on the whole Super Mario Sunshine stuff, but I'm a big fan of the game. This week, we won't be doing any radical Rexing. We are just going to roll right into our songs. Let's go ahead and start off. I will bring us in. I will bring the rain, if you will. With my first track. Here
Nice.
we go. All right, A down up, A down up. The signature ocarina key in to play the Song of Storms.
Crazy dude that made the windmill go crazy and drains all the water out of the well.
So this first one kicks off April showers, and I am excited to do this music episode. It's been a little bit. I believe it was Christmas time when we did our last one, so well do. And I hope you guys are ready. We're going to bring some water levels and water themes to you, just to bring in this lovely time of year. Josh, what is your first track?
All right, here we go. All right, so I started with one that was a bit more unsurprising for me, maybe. It is a track from Ukulele and the Impossible Lair. I went ahead and slid that right in there. It is Buzzsaw Falls. Obviously, it is a level with a lot of waterfalls. A very pretty one. And that one is done by Matt Griffin. That game actually has a handful of tracks by David Wise and a couple others, but that one is not Mr. Wise. That one is Matt Griffin, one of Platonic's own. He has some good ones.
Awesome. Yeah, I really like Impossible Lair a lot, and this is a great sounding song. I like the upbeat. It kind of reminds me of spring a lot, and just like things waking up and just being upbeat.
Yeah, it's definitely a good positive one right now. Um, yeah, so that is what I'm starting with.
So my second track that I brought to the table, this one is from a Game Boy Advance game. So Game Boy Advance isn't known for the greatest soundtrack, but I picked this out of even a game. It's one of my least favorite Pokemon games, but I actually like this for the theme and just the tension that it brings. So here we go. This song is called Heavy Rain, and it's in Pokemon Sapphire. It's at the time in the game, in this version, where things start getting really rainy and things start to flood. The bad guys, Team Aqua, have started to enact their plan with Kyogre to flood the world, and a lot of tension, a lot of urgency. Like something bad is happening right now. Like I like it a lot. Where Song of Storms kind of ushers in the rain, this kind of brings down the heavy downpour, and I love the tones to it.
Yeah, I never played that one. I played the 3DS remake of Ruby, but I can't say I remember it from that. But I think that's a really good one for the Game Boy Advance. I could see that one, especially in a game like Pokemon where it's not always action-packed. I can see where it could kind of get you pumped, get things flowing.
All right, moving right along. Josh, what is your next pick?
All right, let me jump into my next one here. This one's a bit older than the rest of the way here out, actually, now that I get to look at it. The majority of them are from the same system, but let's go ahead and get started. So that one is, of course, from Star Fox 64. It is from Aqua's. For everybody who's played that game, including myself, way too much back in the day. I can't really hear any track from that game, unfortunately, without like saying the quotes throughout every part of it. To me, it's just like part of the tracks at this point. But I always like this one. It's kind of just, well, it's kind of like the level. It fits it well. It's dark, kind of mysterious. It's actually the only level the Blue Marine was used in. But if you've ever played it, it fits it real well. You can't see real far ahead of you. Definitely. Just go ahead.
This kind of, being a water-based thing, and also it kind of brings a tear to my eye a little bit, knowing that Peppy Hare's voice actor, Rick May, died because of the coronavirus. It was just announced a couple days ago, and this kind of stirs up those emotional memories and those thoughts of the voice actor in this time. Even thinking of anything about Star Fox, and I get a little wet-eyed myself.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a voice I heard a lot of as a kid. So it's another reason I wanted to kind of toss that one in there. And it's not too bad.
Keep doing barrel rolls wherever you are.
Yep. Let's see here, Ryan, what do you have coming up here next?
All right, my next track I pulled from Super Mario Sunshine. This is actually a boss battle. I consider like Super Mario Sunshine to be just a water game, like not just a water level, but a complete water game. Like everything is water based. So I kind of like that in some ways. I know a lot of people hate water levels, but this was a lot of cool, a lot of fun, and I liked the instruments and stuff that they used for this GameCube game. And this was probably like the hardest boss fight in the whole game for me. Everything else was easy except for this part. I had to do it so many times over and over and over again. And this was the fight against the manta ray on it's called the level's called Manta Storm, and the song's called Manta Storm. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so this boss was quite trying, and you basically had to take out this giant shadow ghost manta ray that was moving across the ground and laying down its ink or its paint or what have you, and you had to split it into halves, and then they became two mantas, and then you had to split those in half, and you keep doing that, and they get smaller and smaller and faster, and they cover everywhere, and if a certain percentage of it, in the wave gets covered, you lose this fight. It's really, really tough boss battle, but the music I just thought really went well with it. It wasn't too like terrifying, but at the same time, like the boss was terrifying enough. But like all the water that was used in that level, oh my goodness, that was. I think some people have called it the Dark Souls of the bosses in this game. Like, it was quite a tough fight. Did you ever get a chance to play this one?
Oh yeah, yeah. I eventually did collect everything in that. It's actually been a good while since I've made it real far in it though. So I remember this, but very little. It's funny actually listening to it now. For whatever reason, I felt like I was getting like Wario Land 4 vibes from the music, even though that's a Game Boy Advance game. But yeah, it's a good one. I feel like they used it somewhere else recently. I don't think it was Smash. I'm not sure. But that does sound kind of familiar, like it was used outside of that recently. Now, let me get mine pulled back up here. Actually, I have another one. I'll go ahead and say it's from the N64. This one was a bit of a random one I picked out while we were looking for songs from a game I used to spend a lot of time on. Let me go ahead and get it started. So that one is from Mario Party 3, the Deep Blooper Sea level, the one underwater one from that one. That was actually one of my favorite Mario parties back then. Nintendo keeps putting 2 out on virtual consoles and stuff, but you never get to see 3 anymore for some reason. Yeah, anyway, just looking back through this stuff, that one's one I remember pretty well, that level in particular. It's not like one of my favorite songs, but I do like it. I think it fits Mario Party really well.
Now, I'm not super familiar with 3, but I do like the music. It's kind of what's that dance called? Is it waltz? I don't know. It's got kind of that. I'm terrible at dancing stuff, but it's just got that kind of progression and the staccato sound of that feel to it. I like this pick a lot. I wish I'd played more of 3 to really get an idea what the level looked like. The pictures that paints in my mind is kind of an underwater board. Of course, it's got blooper in the name, so.
But yeah, that's, I guess maybe I'm getting a little bit off track here, but with that, one thing I always liked about the early Mario Party games was like the pre-rendered background look. If you go back and play some of the N64 ones, I guess that's the right term for it. But yeah, like I said, in the corner, I remember there being a huge blooper there. It was a cool one. So yeah, if you ever get a chance, go back and check that out. And actually, a lot of these tracks, I guess, while we're talking about it, we're only playing like a short clip of them, but some of them really build the farther you go, and this one's kind of one of them. Well, Ryan, what is your next pick here?
So my next one is a track from one of my my greatest of all time soundtracks for video game soundtracks. I fall in love with this, every bit of this soundtrack. And this one is it's a bit forlorn. It's a water level it's very depressing and dark, and you're walking through swamps, and it's well, let's get into it. I can't play this song and not read the intro to this level. This marsh has thwarted travelers since ancient times. The rain that falls here is thick with miasma, much to the chagrin of prospective intruders. In days of old, the Selkies were driven from their ancestral home. They marched ever westward in search of a new haven. Here they built bridges over the swamp and at long last reached the other side. But once they were there, they found no land to call home. Alright, so this song, it's haunting in a way, but the use of the sounds, kind of like a popping, like bubble, and there's the drip. I think this whole soundtrack is perfect, but this one especially. I love this level. It's the one I play the most. When I play, I just go into this over and over and over again because I want to know the mystery of the Selkies. There's a character in here that starts drinking the miasma water there and starts turning into a monster himself, and it's really cool. Like, if you dig deep into the lore and you go through it enough times, you start seeing like his journey and his adventures and stuff, and it's really cool to explore the lore in this game, in this level.
Yeah, so I have a bit of a dumb question to start off, I guess, because I'm not as familiar with the series. I see it's from Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. What system is that on?
It's on GameCube and soon on Switch.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's
anyway,
called Aiming Towards the New World.
It sounded really good. I like that. I like the little like the water drop kind of sounds in the background of it. Give it a very atmospheric sort of thing.
The stage is called Conal Kurach, Conallcurach. I don't know the proper pronunciation for that, but you're walking through like swamplands. You're on a lot of like floating log like bridges and very kind of backwoods bayou. In a lot of ways, a lot of monsters. At the end of it, you fight a ghost dragon. So it's pretty dark and kind of gloomy, but that's just, I love it all the more. So.
Cool. All right. Well, my next one here is actually on the same system. Let me go ahead and get it rolling. right, so that one is from the Tasmanian Tiger, also on the GameCube and PS2, Xbox, all of that good stuff. That is Bridge on the River, is the name of that level. So it's like a dark, almost swampy sort of area, if you've ever played it before. You got the moonlight kind of reflecting off of the river and all the nice little bridges and torches and stuff. It's always a favorite of mine in that one, and I just recently played through it again, of course, with the HD version on Switch. So that one was still fresh in my mind. It's got that real Australian kind of feel to it. Obviously, the team that made it is in Australia, Chrome. But like a lot of that soundtrack, actually, I really enjoyed it. I think the only problem I ever had with them is they're kind of short tracks, so they end up getting repeated a lot in that game. But other than that, it's good.
I definitely like the jam session vibe that this puts on. Like just everybody getting together and just playing and just jamming out together. Like really cool.
Yeah, I always thought it was kind of a nice, relaxing one. Especially like I said, if you play the level itself, it fits it real well. Now we've got, it looks like one more apiece here to go. So Ryan, what is your last choice for today?
So I couldn't pick water levels without thinking of the water level that defined my childhood. Haunting, frustrating, scary, forlorn, lonely. All these things came up when I played this track, and this is from Super Metroid. You may know it well. All right. When I listen to this song, my brain automatically superimposes the sound of the grapple beam, as you use it quite a lot in this level. In this area, this completely underwater area, you end up breaking this tube, and you're immediately thrown into the water. And if you don't have the gravity suit, like things are really hard to move around in. If you have the gravity suit, you can move in water like normal. But you have a lot of fish and different sea creatures and things you have to fight. And then you also find the Machtroids here, which are weaker Metroid clones or what have you. And you get down and you fight this several different unique bosses and enemies here. There's the spring ball in this level, this area that many people don't know about. It's an upgrade that you can get. It's optional. But there's this creature that you can fight that has like saw blades on its feet, I guess. And I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like an inchworm, but instead of like inching and bunching up, it just kind of like rotates, swinging an arm. And then when that arm sets down, the next arm goes, and then it clears a path for you. And then the Dragon boss, there's a bunch of little babies, but then there's the big mother that tries to attack you because you're in the lair with the babies and everything. So but it's such a sad and depressing song, and I can't sit and listen to this for a long period of time or like over and over and over again like I can any of the other Super Metroid songs, just because I get so down in the dumps. Just because I remember getting so lost in this game so often, and especially in this area, like I didn't know what to do, and I got so frustrated, and finally came out of it and succeeded. But oh my goodness, the emotions that this stirs up.
It's a great game, but this is definitely like probably my least favorite area in that game. Especially if you don't have the gravity suit, you might as well, like, you're not getting very far anyway. But it is just slow and frustrating then. But the song itself, I've never really bothered to like sit and listen to, but I could see that just making you really depressed after about 5 minutes. But I mean, it fits the atmosphere really well, as is a lot of Metroid music. All right, well, the last one I have here is maybe a little bit of a stretch, but it's kind of water related. Let me go ahead and get it going. Alright, so that is part of the end credits of Majora's Mask, and that was sung by the in-game band called the Indigo Goes, which is a bunch of Zoras. So, and you hear part of that song, I believe, in the middle of the game. You can kind of help them practice for it. But yeah, I always loved the music from that game, and the end credits always stick out in particular. A lot of things around all of the watery levels of that actually. Yeah, that one always sticks out in my head in particular. That.
Oh yes, I absolutely love the Zora synth sound. And that was so cool, like the band that they had in the game. That was probably the coolest thing, like having a guitar when in that form, and then just in general, like getting that band together for the game was interesting. It was an interesting pick, and I really like how they included this part of the song and this part of the scene at the ending credits. That was really cool to see that, because I think Zoras are probably my favorite part about Majora's Mask, just how they look and their abilities when you're one of them, with the mask on, and being able to swim really fast. Just it's really cool. I was happy with that, and I'm glad you picked this song. It doesn't get enough love, honestly, and that's my favorite part of the whole ending credits.
For sure. Yep.
All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the episode. So we hope that these brought you some feelings of rain and spring. Hopefully things weren't too depressing, in this time of hard times, hardship right now. But you can appreciate these in different ways, depending on when you listen to these. So. So that brings us to the end.
Yeah, I'll say I hope and pray the best for you all. I know everything's a bit crazy right now at the time of recording, anyway. But yeah, go check out some of these. Maybe not. I know some of the ones we picked weren't as happy as other ones, but yeah, if you're looking for something to do, go check out some of these tracks. There's some good ones here. Give them a few minutes at least.
Most definitely. That's the end of the episode. You can find us at thenintendovillage.com/Nintendo Nostalgia on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and YouTube. You can find us on Facebook at Nintendo NOS, on our Twitter at Nintendo_NOS. You can find us on our Instagram at Nintendo NOSIN. Shoot us an email at NintendoNostalgiaIN@gmail.com. And you can always call in on our Nostalgia hotline and share your memories and show us some love at 317-969-5690. Guys, that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening. Catch you later.
See you later.